What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten football channel.
Minnesota had one of the easier schedules in 2019, at least in the Big Ten. It's a team that started off again with a really easy schedule, and we thought, man, this team's not for real. They keep winning all these close games, and then they started blowing teams out, and we thought, oh wow, maybe this team is for real. And they got the big one over Penn State, but then at the end of the year they lose a couple of big games, and you're all of a sudden thinking maybe Minnesota's not that good. And then they did what they did to Auburn, and you think, wow, this team was the real deal. They were, it was a roller coaster last year for Minnesota. Well, this year the schedule might even be easier than it was last year. They don't play Penn State, and they don't play Ohio State, and they don't have a big non-conference matchup either. So Minnesota might be a team to watch again in that Big Ten West. Might be the favorite. Who knows? They open up the year on a Thursday night, September 3rd, against FAU, Florida Atlantic. Lane Kiffin, of course, gone from FAU, so Minnesota should be able to take care of business in that game. And then the next week it's Tennessee Tech on September 12th. So a couple of fairly easy games to get some of the young players some playing time and get this team ready for the Big Ten stretch. They play Iowa on September 18th. That'll be a home game for the Gophers. And yes, that game will be played on a Friday night. So they have a Thursday and Friday night game in the first 3 weeks of the season. And that's the game right there. That game will set the tone for Minnesota's season. They could not beat Iowa last year. This year they get them at home. They get them on a Friday night. You know they're going to be fired up. They got to win that game, though. If they don't beat Iowa in week 3, I don't think they win the Big Ten West. I think that's how big that game is. Maybe even just from a confidence standpoint. You got to get over the hump, beat the Hawkeyes. They'll have a great opportunity to do that. That's going to be a big game for Minnesota. And then the next week, they will play BYU back on Saturday. That's their toughest non-conference game. BYU, I haven't looked into them too much, but I don't expect them to be a top 25 team or anything like that. So Minnesota at home should be the favorite there. Then on October 3rd, they'll play on the road at Maryland. Maryland is not expected to be very good this year. And then not just Iowa, but the other team that beat them last year, Wisconsin, on October the 10th. What a game this will be. It's a road game, though. It's going to be really tough. I don't know that they have no chance if they lose this game. I think the Iowa game is actually bigger because that's just one you've got to have at home. They're on the road at Wisconsin here. If they lose this game, I don't think it's all over. I think Wisconsin more than likely is going to lose at least 2 games. So that's a big game for sure. But it'll be very tough to win that game on the road. And then after that, they'll play Michigan on October the 17th. Another big opportunity. This is their Penn State from last year. This is their big opportunity at home against the Big Ten East. So that will be a big one there right after playing Wisconsin, too. A pretty tough stretch here. And then after that, on October 24th, they'll play at Illinois. At Illinois, a team that could be a surprise team this year in the Big Ten West. They have a lot coming back. We saw the potential when they beat Wisconsin last year. They didn't keep that level going all season, but still, this could be a dangerous team in a dangerous spot there between Michigan and Michigan State. They'll play on the road at Michigan State. This is probably a good year to play Michigan State. I expect them to be down a little bit. They've really struggled for the last several seasons, though, so that's you definitely think you got a shot there if you're Minnesota. And then going into the month of November, they'll play Purdue at home. That could be a big game in the division as well. They get a late bye week between Purdue and Northwestern. They'll play Northwestern on November 21st. Purdue and Northwestern, both of those games at home. You like Minnesota's chances there. They should be favored with those games, again, being on their home field. And then they finish things out on the road at Nebraska. On the road at Nebraska on Friday after Thanksgiving. Instead of Nebraska, Iowa in the spot. This year we get Nebraska and Minnesota. I'm not really sure why they switched that up. But that could be a big game also in the division if Nebraska is a contender. So, every game matters in the Big Ten West. I think this division is wide open. I know Wisconsin won it last year, and everyone's probably going to assume that they win it again this year. I think all the teams have a chance. And I mean every single team. Maybe not Northwestern. Illinois, maybe they're not quite to that level yet. But I think everyone, at least in the beginning of the season, you got to have some hope if you're a Big Ten West team, because this division, I think, is going to be wide open, and it should be a lot of fun to watch this race. So you look at the schedule, again, non-conference, FAU, Tennessee Tech, BYU, not bad. You look at their games against the East, they'll play Michigan. Yeah, that's a challenge. Michigan State, very winnable game. And then Maryland, one of the bottom teams in that division. So they luck out in a big way there. Tough road games in the division. You've got Illinois and Wisconsin and Nebraska. So those will be the three big challenges in the division. But they do get Iowa at home. They do get Purdue at home. And they have a schedule that sets up really well for them. They take care of business in the non-conference, and they could maybe make a run at this thing with just one loss, or even maybe with 2 losses, and just get to the Big Ten championship game. They win that. Who knows? Is Minnesota a dark horse to make the college football playoff? I think they've got a schedule that'll give them a shot if they turn out to be a really good team. You got to have 2 things. You got to be really good, and you got to have a schedule that will kind of get you there, unless you're just an elite team. I think they've got the schedule that could get them there. Are they a really good team? Of course, we won't find that out until September. But there you go. That's the 2020 schedule for the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Thank you for watching this video. If you're a Big Ten football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in Big Ten football, keep it right here.